So let's kick off. We've a very exciting agenda, and our first speaker has massively grown his own company and helps other people to grow their company. So with over 1 million visitors to his site alone, Razor Social, the first speaker certainly will be able to help you understand how to drive traffic to your business. So besides working on Razor Social, he regularly contributes to Entrepreneur.com and Forbes. He's also been featured in industry publications such as VentureBeat, New York Times, Fox News, Huffington Post, and many more. In fact, our first speaker, Ian Cleary, spends most of his time speaking at conferences overseas. So it's actually a real pleasure to have Ian Cleary, who's the founder of Razor Social, here to talk about how to elevate your content marketing and social media to the next level. Ian.
Thanks, Anthony. I remember when I started my first blog, it actually failed miserably. I was getting no traffic, I was getting no shares. I was creating this content. I expected Google to send me all this traffic, and it never happened. Then I started Razor Social, and I took a completely different approach to blogging. And when I took a completely different approach, it was completely different results. In the third year of Razor Social, we generated over 1 million unique visitors to our site, and our content gets shared on average about 1,000 times for every article. We've been shared about 450,000 times over the last few years. And today what I want to talk about is how you generate all that traffic. Does anybody want to hear that? Well, that wasn't very, exciting. Does anybody want to hear that? Okay. So we've got 20 minutes, and I'm going to fly through this in 20 minutes. One thing I want to say, oops, I'm pressing the wrong button. Content marketing is a sales tactic, so it is about selling with content marketing. It depends as much on outbound as inbound. So don't pay any attention to people who say that inbound is the future. We sit here, we wait for people to send us load of traffic, we write this great content, and we get all this traffic and we generate business. That's not how it works. You have to do as much promotion of the content as writing the content, even spend more time promoting the content. So Razor Social would be known as an inbound marketing company. We create this content and loads of traffic comes. But we were doing outbound promotion all the time. On a daily basis, I'm taking out emails, creating these emails, reaching out to influencers, reaching out to sites looking for links, reaching out to promote our content. Because if you don't do that, it's not going to go anywhere. And I actually got so tired of creating all those emails manually, we built a tool called OutreachPlus, which allows you to automate these emails and automate the follow-ups and all the tracking. And this produced a lot better results. And a lot of the tactics I'm talking about today is what we're doing now with the newer company as well as the older company. Alan was asking me earlier on this morning, how do you manage the two companies? Well, I was saying I do 80% of my time on OutreachPlus and about 50% of my time on Razor Social at the moment. So what I want to step through is a 5-step program for content marketing. So this is a program we've taught to many brands across the world, and it'll really help you with a framework for content marketing. So I think you'll find it beneficial. So the first thing is build on your foundation. Now, when I'm talking about foundation, I'm not talking about makeup, right? Although I do have a funny story with makeup, very quick one. I was in San Francisco recently, and I was going to a conference. And us Irish, you know, we get burned very easily. So I put on loads of cream and went out cycling for the day in San Francisco. I thought it was factor 50, but it wasn't. It was moisturizer. It just had a number 50 on it. So I got really badly burnt, and I had a big red nose. I was speaking the next day. So I did what any guy would do. I went into a chemist, I bought loads of foundation, I put the foundation on. That got rid of me red nose. Anyway, I'll know next time. Build links to your website through relationships and content. You have to build links to your website and your content. If you're not building links, you're not going to rank. It's as simple as that. You have to get links to your content. And you have to have relationships. So you're reaching out, building relationships with other businesses, other influencers. And through these relationships, helps you generate links, gets people to share out your content. So when I started off, I built a list of 100 of the top social media influencers in the world, and I started building relationships with them. Over time, they started sharing the content, and that's how the content took off. It wasn't related to the quality of the content, it was related to the relationships. So you need to build the relationships. This is my link profile for OutreachPlus. As you can see, towards the end of February we launched, then we started reaching out, getting links. Most of the links are related to relationships we have. So we've been featured on the Inc. and Forbes and loads of sites. But it's related to the relationships we have with people. I have to build those links because I have to build the authority of your site. If you're not building the authority of your site, then you won't get the traffic. So when I'm talking about authority, an easy metric to look at is Open Site Explorer. It's a tool from Moz, and they rank your website out of 100. So everyone will have a number. Every website has a number. The higher that number, the easier it is to rank on content. So my goal with the new site is increase that number as quickly as possible, so it's going to be much easier for me to rank for articles on Google. So this is the tool you'd look up, Open Site Explorer, and look at, see the domain authority number, and look to see what is your number. If that's low, it's hard to get traffic. You increase that number by generating links to your content, as many links to your content as possible. So look at that. Now, before you create content, you need to know how much work is required to rank the content. I've done out a plan for the next year of every single article I'm going to write over the next year. And it's all targeted around keywords and topics that I want to rank for. There's no point in writing any articles you're not going to rank for on Google because it's not going to go anywhere. But you can know, before you even write the article, what level of work you need to put in to rank for that article. So would you like to know the tools I use to figure this out? Yeah, okay, so we're still here with me, okay. And this was the sort of stuff you need to do before you actually put pen to paper. One of the tools I'd use is Ahrefs. So I was doing business recently, consultancy business with a tourism business recently, and I was looking up Irish castles. Now, I was looking at search results in the US, and it shows me an average 5,800 searches on a monthly basis. Now, the reality is it could be 3 or 4 times that amount because there's a lot of related searches that people will rank for. And Ahrefs shows me the keyword difficulty. Now, they base that keyword difficulty by analyzing the top 10 results, looking at the number of links to each piece of content. So if I look at Irish castles and I see in the top 10 search results, there's 1,000 links to every piece of content. Well, I'm going to have to do an amazing piece of content to rank on page 1. As it happens, the keyword difficulty is 8, which means that if you have a reasonably high domain authority, which is similar to what's in the top 10 search results, it's going to be very easy to rank for that term. So this is a term I target easily because there's about 8 or 9 links on average to that piece of content. I know if I can get 10 or 15 links and I have a reasonable authority site, I can easily appear in the top 3 results of this. So I'm going to look to see what the keyword difficulty is. I'll see some terms that might be 60 or 70. Now, it's not linear, so 60 or 70 means you could end up needing hundreds of links, and sometimes it's thousands of links. You can pretty much rank for anything on Google. It's just within reason. It's just in terms of the amount of work involved in each piece of content you're writing. So you need to understand, if you're targeting a specific keyword, you need to understand the work that's involved to actually rank for that keyword. If it's extremely difficult, like if I tried to rank for castles, that's going to be extremely difficult, but not impossible. Again, it goes back to the links to that content. And that's why you have to do links. Now, later on, I'm going to talk about the actual content you can use to get those links. Here's some other tools I would use on a regular basis for keyword research. SEMrush is a really useful tool. One of the things it shows me is what keywords your website is ranking for. So I can look up what's the top 10 keywords your website is ranking for, and what traffic you're driving to that. Then I'm going to look at your domain authority, and I'm going to look at the links to that content. Then I'm going to write content that's going to beat you in search results by getting more links. And I'll use SEMrush. Quora is a tool that's everybody asking questions and interaction. It's a great way to finding conversations that people are having all the time related to your product or service that you offer. So you can get great ideas for that. BuzzSumo is going to show me what's the most shared piece of content. It's not difficult to get 1,000 shares on a piece of content. You just look on BuzzSumo and figure out what other content in another part of the world got similar amount of shares and write a similar or better piece of content. It's proven already to be popular. And Answer the Public shows me all the related terms that people are searching for. So in my article, I want to target a keyword, but I also want to target other related terms that people are searching for. Answer the Public is a free tool. So do you put the same level of effort into every piece of content you write? No. It depends on how difficult it is to rank for that keyword. Sometimes a 2,000-word article is okay. Sometimes you have to build a whole research report. Sometimes you might build a tool or something. So it depends, and it's all about the promotion of that content. So one of the key pieces of content is pillar content. This is the one that is hard to rank for. So there's a lot of searches on it. It's very competitive in search results. So I'm going to do a lot of work on this piece of content. Every couple of months, you might work on a pillar piece of content. And that's one where you're going to continuously promote on an ongoing basis, always looking for links, always looking for opportunities, because that could drive thousands and thousands of visitors. And from them visitors, I can turn it into sales. For pillar content, I'm going to write a detailed article on the site, but I'm also going to write a lot of related articles on the site linking to that pillar content. So the pillar content is my juicy, beefy piece of content. The related content is telling Google, it's giving links into that piece of content, and it's telling Google that this is an important piece of content. It's so important, all these related pieces of content are linking in. Then I'll start reaching out, and I'll start promoting that content. I'll be sending emails talking about that content, or I will do guest posts on sites. If I'm ever writing a guest post on a site, I'm writing an article that's related to an article on my site because there's a good excuse to link back to it within the content. I'll never do a guest post unless there's a good reason to link back to my content. And I'm looking for sites that have a high authority number that will add a lot of value. So that link is going to be super valuable. Number two, I'm going to look at content goals and funnels. I want to have my content goals in place. It's not about creating a piece of content, hoping for the best. You want to see what actually happens to that piece of content. You'll want to have funnels like this set up in Google Analytics, which is quite straightforward to set up, which will show the route from going from, coming into your checkout, going all the way through to actually buying a product or service. When you set up these funnels, I can now see which piece of content is driving traffic into this funnel and converting the best. I'll know the exact content. If I know the exact content that's actually driving high conversion into this funnel, I'm going to start building more links to that content to drive more traffic to that piece of content. So if you set up your funnel in the analytics, you'll be able to measure and track every piece of content. And without this sort of thing in place, it's not going to work for you. Another thing you might do is build email subscribers. You have to build email subscribers. It's so important. 70% of your visitors will come to your website and never come back. So you have to build the subscribers. So when they come in, I have a blog post and I have an opt-in directly within the blog post, which is specific to that blog post. And from that, I'm looking to get at least 10% conversion. At the moment, we're averaging over 20% conversion everyone that reads a blog post because we provide a summary of that blog post. And then after that, you think about your funnel. What happens at that stage? Is there an email nurture series after that? Is there a webinar you invite people to? You always think from a piece of content all the way through to the end. Number three, you get on down to creating and publishing the content. It gets easier now because you've done all the research in advance. So you have to do all that research. You have to have a list of keywords you're going after. You have to have an understanding of how competitive that is, what work you need to do to rank on this. Because some of these keywords do you want to do paid ads or free? You can do a combination, but this will give you the free traffic. If you create strategic content, it may take 10 times more work, but might deliver 1,000 times more value. So you need to think about what's that strategic content you're going to create. And I'm going to give you a couple of examples. Research report is a great piece of content to write. In general, I get over 100 links just from a research piece of content, and that's easy to reach out and promote. A concept you come up with, like this Conversation PRISM, instead of a list of social media platforms, it's a prism. They got 3,270 backlinks, ranking for 527 words. A utility, HubSpot do this all the time, create these simple utilities, gets tons of links, because you have something valuable and interesting to reach out about. So really think about the content you're writing, and for that pillar content, it's not just a 500-word blog post. Not anymore, it's too competitive. You need to think of something original and different. A different angle to what's out there already is the only thing that will help you rank for the competitive terms. Then I do my outbound marketing, so I have to promote all this content as much as possible. So I'm using the likes of Agorapulse for distribution of all the content, to get it out to an audience, my existing audience. I'm also reaching out to an audience that may not have come across me before. I'm monitoring using Brand24, so I'm tracking the keywords that people are talking about related to my content, so now I can reach out to this audience as well. And then I'll do my email outreach. So I'll research, figure out a list, I'll personalize that email outreach, and then I'll outreach to people. Now, when you're using an email outreach tool, so that's the tool we have, OutreachPlus, when you use that, you're sending emails directly through your Gmail client. It appears like a personal email. We just help automate that process. So you can send out 50 emails, you can automatically send follow-ups if people don't respond, and further follow-ups, you can track all the results. And that's how you scale your outreach, rather than send it one by one. Same process with journalists, you'd use something like this. Examples of outreach, I have an interesting research report. Would your publication be interesting talking about it? Here's some stats. I have this free tool, I think it might be useful for your business. You're linking to something that's out of date or that's a broken link. These are all really valid outreach tactics that generate links, build relationships, and generate traffic. And number 5, I'm going to then analyze and optimize. So I want to optimize everything at the end. So all the times I'm looking at how can I improve that? How can I optimize the funnel? For example, this earlier on we said the blog post was 10%. I was looking for 10% conversion. Now we've recently started doing on every single blog post, we have the opt-in, which is directly related to that piece of content. And then when you exit that blog post, it means you haven't signed up. A pop-up will appear, we use opt-in monster, and that will double our conversion rates. So this is how we're achieving over 20% email conversion rates on this article. If you put an opt-in on the right-hand side, sign up to my newsletter, you're going to get 2% conversion. If you put an opt-in at the bottom in your footer, you're going to get like 0.2% or 0.3% conversion. If you do this, you're getting 20% conversion. These people are not coming back to your website again, so you have to try and capture their details. Once you build the list, you can generate money from the list. We're always generating money from the email list. So 10% goes to 15 or 20%. We're at 20%. So that was like in 15 minutes, the Elevate framework. We do training on this, goes on a lot longer. But 1, build your foundation. So keyword research is a key part of that, understanding what you're going to write about, what you need to do for rank for these specific terms. It's a process you follow. You create your content goals and funnels. It's not about creating a random piece of content, hoping for the best. You understand exactly for every piece of content, what is the conversion rate on that piece of content? How is that contributing towards your business? Then it becomes worthwhile creating this piece of content. Then you want to create and publish that content. And when you create and publish that content, you're thinking about the styles of content. For example, a research report. I've done a research report, I reach out to my audience, I got 200 people to answer, and that will get me a lot of links from big media sites, and it's not that difficult to produce. So think about that content. Outbound marketing promotion, you have to promote that content. You have to reach out on a regular basis promoting that content. We use outreach to promote our content, to generate leads for our business, to get links back to our site. Then optimize all the time, analyze and optimize, and then you'll start getting improved conversion rates and better results as a result of that. As I said at the very start, content marketing is a sales tactic that depends as much on outbound as inbound. It's not inbound, and it's even going harder and harder for inbound. Social media is not going to deliver you that traffic anymore. You know, it's harder and harder to rank on Google, so you need to promote that content. So it's better quality content and more promotion. Write longer, more detailed articles. Don't be writing lots of articles on a daily or weekly basis unless you're a media site. Do one article once a month, but do a brilliant article or come up with a research report or build a utility. That's the only way you'll actually be successful with content marketing. If you like this content, we are doing a half-day days training on June the 6th in Dublin. Go to razorsocial.com/elevate-training or elevate. There's a full half-day session on this coming up soon. Thank you very much. I hope that was useful. If you're interested in Elevate, come to Razor Social. If you're interested in Outreach, have a look at our tool, OutreachPlus. I'll be around for the day. I'd love to answer any of your questions. I hope you'll take away some of this and implement it. And thank you very much.